want to build a team of some very bad people who I think can do some good.
What?
I was just trying to get you there. You know how it feels, right? We good.
Really matters to me.
So, Le Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad. Now, I'm very tired. I haven't slept since I've seen this movie. I had to stay up all night and get some work done, but here I am, doing the review. In order to properly talk about all the points I need to address, I need to spoil some aspects of it. So I will hold that off as long as I can, and then get to the spoilers that explain why I gave it the review that I did. Before I even get into any specific details, it was actually good. I would even go as far as to say it was pretty good. It wasn't fantastic, it wasn't great, it wasn't bad, it was pretty good. Compared to what DC's new lineup has been going with so far, I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than I did Batman v Superman. It was much more engaging, enjoyable, not so dark. So, first off, pros of Suicide Squad. Without any spoilers, difficult, but not impossible. Harley Quinn and Deadshot's character, I think, were portrayed very well, and oddly enough, got the most focus in this whole film. I think the casting for Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn and the way that she portrayed the character, I thought it was pretty spot on to how Harley Quinn is usually portrayed, personality-wise, action-wise. I was worried about the trailers, that they were going to give her some sort of, mental... It portrayed it as schizophrenia or something like that, when no, they actually portrayed it as what it is, and that's Harley Quinn having this head-over-heels romance for Mr. J, which is the Joker. And yeah, it was fitting for a character. And Deadshot kind of came out of left field, because I knew that he was going to be a member of the Suicide Squad, and he was part of the cast and all that, and I was just kind of surprised that he got as much time as he did, as much backstory as he did, and he ended up being a very prevalent character in the movie, more so than others that I thought would be. So that was odd, but interesting. I liked it. I was worried about Will Smith doing it, but no, he pretty much did a pretty good job of doing Deadshot, as did Margot Robbie with Harley Quinn. Another pro, of course, about this, and that's that a lot of obscure DC characters got cinematic attention and public eye. Nobody knew who the fuck Captain Boomerang even is until this movie came out. And yeah, he's a character that's established in the world and all that. And kind of like with some of the other what's going to end up being the Justice League and all that, with Cyborg, and people already know about the Flash, he's very common, and Aquaman and all that. But there are some DC characters that are fairly out there, like the Enchantress and like Cyborg, who aren't that well known, and now, thanks to this movie, they'll be a little bit more well known. I'll also say, as opposed to Superman vs. Batman, this was a much more entertaining film. I was fully engaged through this film. Now, regardless of quality, it was still engaging to me, regardless of narrative. It wasn't so dark and grainy and no comic relief, anything like that. It was, if anything, it wasn't like mile-a-minute jokes like the Ghostbusters reboot. It was action combined with comedy, and yeah, it didn't really ever get too serious until it hit Deadshot's storyline, and that's when things got a little bit here and there, and even Enchantress, the whole possession thing, I was like, oh wow, it's, they tried to incorporate some romance into it, and I couldn't really get behind it or take it seriously due to the characters involved. But, aside from that, it was actually it was a fun movie. I'll say that. It was a fun movie, and I enjoyed myself during it. The film's art style was unique and different from most DC, and hell, even most superhero film. They started off going strong with this sort of neon and colors and directing style, and then kind of shied away from that until the very end credits. It was weird, because it was a style, are they going to do this the whole film? And they didn't, and I was like, okay, that's a relief. But it was just odd, the incorporation of it. Artistic, but odd. As with Batman v Superman, I heard that there's an extended cut of this, with more Joker footage and possibly an R rating, so it'll be something to look out for. But we're here to discuss the theatrical release, not an extended cut or possibility of. This is purely to review the theatrical release. This is where this video is going to get a bit tricky. So Before going into spoilers, I'm just gonna say this film I would give a solid 3 out of 5. A 3 out of 5. And I'll explain why, but I'm gonna say the rest of this video is gonna be spoilers. So if you haven't seen it and you want to see it and formulate your own opinion before I go into this big spiel, please do so. I insist. If you don't give a fuck, keep watching, or if you just want to hear this and then go see the film anyway, do whatever you're gonna do. So first of all, getting into it, the biggest thing that got to me was this: the marketing for the film. The marketing for the film primarily showcased Harley Quinn and Joker, and I knew it wasn't gonna be a Harley Quinn or a Joker movie. It was the Suicide Squad, but it alluded so heavily to Jared Leto's Joker being incorporated into it, and I was like, okay, Jared Leto, I like him as an actor, and I like the Joker. Let's see what we come up with, because everybody doubted Heath Ledger when he was about to be the Joker, and he's one of the most memorable fuckers there. He's one of the most memorable Jokers, besides, in my opinion, Mark Hamill, that's ever done the Joker justice. And I thought, okay, let's see Jared Leto's performance of the Joker. But here's the thing: in the Suicide Squad movie, and I'm pretty sure you can count it out too, he has less than 5 minutes of screen time in this whole entire film. He just pops in, gone for a while, pops in, gone, and then pops in the very, like, there's even scenes in the trailer that showcase the Joker that don't make it to the final cut of the film. And I thought this was kind of bullshit, because I couldn't assess the Joker that he did, and I wanted to see how good or bad it was, but I can't see 5 minutes of Jared Leto doing the Joker on screen in various random, most of which were flashbacks and scenes, and then I can't give an accurate judge or a reading on that, because I haven't seen situations and extended dialogue and interaction with characters besides Harley Quinn, and I wanted to be able to, like, review this Joker and be like, okay, here's what I think about him, but I couldn't fucking do that because I was misled. And oddly enough, the main 2 stars of this, arguably, were Harley Quinn and Deadshot. I didn't think Deadshot came out of left field. I didn't think he was going to be, like, put up there on as high as a pedestal as they did, because this movie ended up being, like, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Enchantress, Rick Flag, I forget her name for the life of me because I'm fucking tired, but the woman who basically was spearheading the whole thing, and then the rest of the squad, which was El Diablo, Killer Croc, which, by the way, I get they were trying to establish that Killer Croc was a black man, but there were racist jokes in this movie, but because black people are saying them, it's okay. You know, Hollywood says it gives them a pass, like, that's alright. And of course it was funny because it was culturally, like, relevant, but I don't like how that type of, like, casual, kind of very minor racist banter and comedy gets a pass just because it's like, oh, well, the black guy said it, so it's alright. Little pet peeve of mine, but as I already mentioned, the marketing in the film conflicted with the film's characters and their overall character focus. It was kind of funny because the opening of this film cuts right to the prison. And I thought, oh, alright, so show us everybody. And it shows Harley Quinn, Deadshot, and it cuts to the meeting where she's assembling everybody. And then you introduce Enchantress. And Enchantress ends up being the main antagonistic catalyst for the rest of the film and what happens. It's very coincidental and very Deus Ex Machina what she ends up doing in order to further the plot. But then when it does eventually get to the characters and their introductions, I felt like I was playing the new Borderlands game, because it was like, here we have this character, and it was like name, occupation, this, and then some jokes and funny things, and like this whole like custom made, but with their new neon art style for this film, and each character had their own, and it's like Captain Boomerang, so and so, name, age, height, and then it was like turn on pink unicorns, and it was like, what? Like, it was funny. I liked it. It was artistic, and it was enjoyable, and it was a good, for people who weren't familiar with the characters. Like, I had no idea before this film, prior to this film, who the fuck Captain Boomerang or El Diablo even were. And this film was like, oh, here's who it is, here's what he did, done, for the sake of that. So no big long origin stories, just very simple, concise ones that kept the plot moving and didn't distract my attention, kept my attention if anything, and actually had me interested in all these characters. That being said, I don't know whose idea it was to advertise and then have the character Slipknot in this film. Do I have a problem with Slipknot? No, not at all. I'd love to find out who the fuck he is, because in this film, spoiler alert, he dies after 2 minutes of screen time because the one shot of him in the trailer, out of the 2 shots of him in the trailer, is him trying to make this initial escape in the city, and they have these implants in all the squad's neck. That's the biggest thing. It's like, if you run away, you die. If you fail, you die. You either succeed and get time off your sentence, or you die. And so, of course, like an idiot, he tries to grapple off and escape, and fucking Rick Flag is like, nah, bitch. Boom. Dead. And, like, that was one of the only 2 minority characters in it, and they just killed him. I thought it was just hilarious, and a complete fucking waste, and so stupid to have, like, they made it as if he was going to be a part of it, but you could tell from the marketing he wasn't going to be, and they just took him out. I thought it was hilariously just fucking ridiculous, so take what you will from that. And, of course, being as how it's DC, and they're trying to catch up to and fight Marvel, and they're trying to shoehorn these Justice League tie-ins, and they're trying to, because they did it in Batman v Superman, where they had the little footage of all the characters, and they did it in the same one in this, where they were taught this, they led this into the Justice League, which, mixed feelings about that. I've already expressed my uneasiness in regards to the upcoming Justice League, how it's gonna be, and how some characters are being introduced into it, how they're getting their origins, and some aren't. It's that aside, that's gonna be a whole nother thing. That's another thing though. They pulled a Marvel, and at the end credits, like, Ben Affleck sits down as Bruce Wayne with the woman who brought them all together, and he's like, you know, oh, I just want to make some friends and get some files about the characters that we're after for Justice League. And I was like, oh, you're pulling like a Nick Fury gathering the Avengers thing. Okay, that's cute, DC. That's cute. I see what you did there. Of an extended cut, it felt like there are moments in this film that were like censored or cut away from, where it could have gotten worse in content, or where things could have just gotten worse in general. And it was kind of like when you watch World War Z with Brad Pitt, and then you watch the original cut and then the uncensored, unedited cut, and you know there's a little bit extra gore, blood, you know. In the words of Daniel Tosh, a general boob the public couldn't handle. And there were definitely moments in this film where I thought, oh yeah, they cut away a little bit quick from that. So you can tell if they made an uncensored version, that'd be that. And of course, if we're going to get over the narrative structure of this film, the plot was fairly predictable. If you watched the trailers, and heaven forbid if you watched the online promotional videos and the teasers that they showed, you know the whole plot. You could kind of put 2 and 2 together, figure it out as it went along, knew that this was going to happen, X, Y, and Z. They were going to be able to make it out in the end. There weren't any big surprises. There weren't any shocking moments. I was entertained, but I wasn't surprised. So props to DC for that, ? And also, and of course they're doing this a lot in DC's line of films and superhero stuff. A lot of CGI. A shitload of it, actually. A lot of special effects. And I'm sure it makes it all flashy and nice and all that, but I mean, you look at some of behind the scenes of what Marvel's been doing, and whenever they can in their television or film programming, they'll use practical effects, real stunts, explosions. They try to, like, make it feel as real as possible whenever they can. DC don't give a fuck. They'll have the fucking battles, and like I said with the fucking previous film with Doomsday, throwing Superman around. In this one, it's like these weird army creatures that aren't fully explained, just they're people that have been transformed by the Enchantress and been turned into just dumb, mindless fighting goons with weird eye pupils. It's nonsensical from a narrative aspect. All that being said, because those are the main points that I had for the film, there's not much to critique from there. I give the film a 3 out of 5. It wasn't bad. It wasn't fantastic. Like it's definitely not going to make my top 10 favorite films of this year. But it was. I feel if DC is wanting to up its game and wanting to make quality film and characters and get back to comic roots and back to what DC could be, this is hopefully and possibly a step in the right direction. Now, of course, I say hopefully and possibly. I don't know for sure, but I sure as hell hope it is, because they're bringing these characters in. It was fun. It was entertaining. It wasn't just a very, like, boring political drama about Lex Luthor entangling Superman in a web of whatever. It was fun. It was a fun movie overall, and I wish if I don't seem enthusiastic, my words aren't coming clearly. Like I said, it's a lack of sleep. I don't mean to blame it on that, but a little bit on the cranky, tired side. So I'll leave it there. Not going to make a big long review of this. I'll leave it under 20 minutes for the sake of you guys and for myself. So, Suicide Squad, 3 out of 5 on the film scale. Go see it. I honestly say it's worth a watch. Go check it out. See what you thought about it. It's worth a watch. Would I buy it on Blu-ray? Probably not. My biggest complaint with the movie, not nearly enough Joker. The marketing made it seem as if Joker and Harley were the stars of the show, and it ended up being Harley and Deadshot, oddly enough. But I'll take what I got, and I had fun with it. It was good, so check it out. Thank you guys for watching. Want me to review any other films? Put them in the comments below. Any films, television series, games, whatever you want. Tell me. I'll try my best to make it happen. In the meantime, stay tuned for whatever I do next. Or the next episode of a gameplay, books, movies. Just goodbye, travelers.